so forth. So who or what? Question number 2, who or what is making me feel this way? Number 3, what was said or done to make me feel this way? Okay, write it down and be specific. What was said or done to make me feel this way? Now, why do we want that? For 2 reasons. Number 1, if you're going to resolve this, you need to talk about it. Right now, you don't need to talk about it because it's I hurt, want you to hurt, and it's like, no, we're not in control right now. And what we've got to do is answer these questions to help bring ourselves in control so that we don't vent the wrong way. We don't bring the hurt onto the other person. So with this in mind, then, we ask this question, who or what is making me feel this way? What was said or done, being specific to make me feel this way? Now, you want to write that down so you can talk about it later. Right. Write it down so you can talk about it later. Now, that's one reason why you want to write it down and go to details. Be specific. Now, a second reason for being specific is you got to write this out. Now, what am I doing? I'm thinking, what just happened? What was the real circumstance? I'm thinking how to spell, because when you write, you think spelling and so forth. And how do I make sense out of this? You write it down. And all of the time, you're thinking spelling, you're thinking details, you're thinking. And what happens when you're thinking? The emotions are slowing down. You're taking control of them before they take control of you. Remember, before I respond to my anger, I've got to answer these questions. Let's look at another one. Is any of these feelings my fault? What if I never told the person this bothers me? Is it their fault? If I never said, maybe this is something I never dealt with that, and so someone says this, and I get the flashbacks on the past, and so there's where the hurt takes over. Okay, so we ask the question, is any of these feelings my fault? Think about it now, because the more you're thinking, the more you're putting yourself in a position to think maybe it's your fault, you're taking more control over the emotions. The next one, number 5, does the other party know how I am feeling right now? Okay, now when I vent the anger, if I vent it in the wrong way, they don't really know how I'm feeling, because what they're doing is hurting. You hurt them because they hurt you. And so it's not about understanding what you're going through, understanding your feelings. It's not about that at all. It's about them now wanting to defend themselves. And here's where the escalation takes place. So before I respond to that anger, I need to ask myself, do they really know what I'm feeling? Okay, and if I'm start exploring, is this my fault? Maybe there's something I didn't share, so I need to put the 2 together so I can share it with them so they can know what I'm feeling, rather than try to defend themselves because I'm venting that anger against them. Okay, let's go on. Number 6, what would be the best way to let the other party know about my feelings? Now that's going to take some thinking. I need to let them know so this won't keep happening. But what would be the best way for me to let them know? How could I get it to them without hurting their feelings? Again, I don't want them to hurt. I want to slow this down, take control of this, so I don't want them to hurt. So what would be the best way to let them know what I'm feeling right now? Think about it, and think about ways, different ways, scenarios that you can use to share the facts with them. Number 7, what might be the outcome of my telling the other party in this way? Okay, so how are they going to respond? I want to make it the best, but I want to try to anticipate how they're going to respond. Now, again, one of the things that we want to note here is when we share this material with them, when we share these ideas with them, they need to be in control of their emotions, and I need to be in control of mine. That's why I take the time to answer these questions, and I write down the answers, because I don't want to go back and think, well, you said this, you did this, and we're now condemning the person rather than talking about the problem. Okay, so with this in mind, then, I've got to be in control of my emotions. They need to be in control of their emotions. Okay, let me go on to the next. What positive thing could I say to the other party when I'm ready to talk about my feelings and the cause? Okay, what positive thing? In a moment, we're going to talk about when and how to confront. Okay, what positive thing can I say? You see, in the concept of saying positive things, if I start out with a negative, I don't like what you just said to me, you're going to put up a wall of defense. On the other hand, if I started out by saying, you've got so many good ideas. I really appreciate how you think of me and how you care about me and all of this. But something was said the other day, and I just want to know, and not again, you said something. No, something was said the other day, and I just need to share it with you. I want you to understand me, and I want to understand you. You see, when it comes to sharing this, there's only two reasons: to understand and be understood. That's the only two reasons for communication. It's not about hurting. It's not about getting even. It's about understanding and being understood. So when you answer these questions, you get a better picture of understanding yourself. And so with that then, what positive thing could I share to let them know I really want them to understand what I'm going through? I don't just want them to hurt. Next question: is my sharing of these feelings for the purpose of hurting or to understand and be understood? If I still want to hurt, it's not time. Not time to share, because that anger is still taking over, and if they respond in an anger and so forth, it's only going to escalate. So I need to take the time to answer these questions. That's the first thing. Answer these questions to slow it down. Now, if we're talking a couple, how about we get a signal? I had one couple that would raise their finger, and each one would go their separate ways and write a letter to each other. Well, that's the next thing I want to talk about. Let's say we get down to number 9, and we're still not over the hurt part. We're still not wanting to understand and so forth. Well, with that be in mind, I want you to do this. I want you to sit down and share 5 positive things you can do. You see, you're the only one that knows what you can do by positive things, venting and so forth. This couple that I was telling you about raised their finger. They went their separate ways and wrote a letter to each other. Now that's important, because you're going back to the writing, just as you're answering the questions. You're going back to the writing, and you write it out, and you write it over and over, reread it and rewrite it till it's really what you want to say. Okay, so many times in anger we come back and say, well, I didn't want to say that. It's too late, you already said it. So you read it and write it and read it over till you really want it to say.